We have breaking news now from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. We told you we were awaiting a news conference regarding developments with the remains found there. We're about to hear from sheriff's investigators as well as the Jefferson County DA. They're about to speak with reporters and give us the latest, confirming the information that we first reported shortly after 4, that Kelly Dwyer was found there.
All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and begin. What I'd like to do is first introduce the people that join me, that are joining me this afternoon, this evening. My name is Chief Deputy Jeffrey Parker, Jeffrey. I'm the Chief Deputy for Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. As well with me today is Jefferson County District Attorney Susan Happ. To my left is Jefferson County Medical Examiner Nicole Wade. And also to my left is Detective Sergeant Don Hunter. Before I begin with the press conference, the most important thing for me to do today is to acknowledge the family of Kelly Dwyer, to give our condolences, our thoughts and prayers to her family and everything that they have been going through. Once again, we just, our thoughts and prayers go out to them. What I'd like to do is just establish a few ground rules here by given the facts that much of today's or much of the investigation that has gone on over the last year and a half belongs to another agency. So we are, as a law enforcement agency, we're not in a position to go and answer questions as it pertains to their investigation, that being the Milwaukee Police Department. And the other thing is that this is an ongoing investigation, so I ask that you be sensitive and remember that questions that probably have to do with the condition of the remains and the investigative scene as it relates to evidentiary issues, those are probably topics that we're not going to be able to reach out on. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and read to you a note, a summary, so to speak, of the events of how the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office has become involved in this investigation over the last 3 or 4 days. On May 1st, 2015, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office was notified regarding possible human remains being found in the area of NORA 5049 Inland Drive in the town of Concord, Jefferson County. Inland Drive is a dead-end road. An individual walking in the above-mentioned area observed skeletal remains and immediately notified the Sheriff's Office. The remains were located approximately 20 feet off of the road along a tree line. A crime scene was established, and investigators from the Sheriff's Office as well as the Jefferson County Medical Examiner were dispatched to the scene. Due to impending darkness on that day, a secure perimeter was established and processing of the scene was continued the following morning, May 2nd, 2015 at 8 a.m. A crime scene response team from the Wisconsin Crime Lab was also contacted and assisted with the processing of the crime scene itself. While members of the crime scene response team were processing the scene, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office conducted a search of the surrounding area. Jefferson County Medical Examiner Nicole Wade and District Attorney Susan Happ were also on scene on May 2nd. Arrangements were made for the remains to be taken to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner for an autopsy. The Milwaukee Police Department was notified during this time and had a detective on scene in the event that the remains were tied to any of their missing person cases. Due to the active case pending with the City of Milwaukee and the disappearance of Kelly Dwyer, the process was established to either confirm or deny the possibility that the remains were hers. Ms. Dwyer's dental records were obtained and a comparison analysis was completed by a forensic odontologist who positively identified the remains as those of Kelly Dwyer. The cause of death has not yet been determined and is pending with further investigation. At this time, no further information is being released as the investigation into the circumstances surrounding her disappearance and the cause of death are ongoing between the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office, and the Milwaukee Police Department. What I would like to do is take a few moments. Please, obviously, as news reporters, respect the process of the law enforcement investigation that is still ongoing. And what I would like to do is first turn the mic over to the medical examiner, Nicole Wade, and if you have any questions that you would like to ask of her, we'll do the best that we can to answer those questions.
Just wondering if there was anything left with the remains that could be used in the investigation, identifying like clothes or backpack, shoes, anything like that that may help you guys out?
I can't comment on anything of the evidence at the scene.
I know you said you can't say cause of death, but is this being investigated as a homicide?
I can't say that either. I'm sorry.
And I think that question will be best directed. I'll turn the microphone over to the district attorney and she can answer that question for you.
Can you kind of explain how you guys will work with Milwaukee then? I mean, is it your investigation? Is it Milwaukee's investigation? Who kind of handles it from here?
I'll be more than happy to answer that. I think, you know, in this case, it becomes important that both agencies work together with the information that we've obtained with our crime scene and the information that they have obviously gathered over the course and period of a long time to assist, work together, and do the best that we can as professional law enforcement agencies to bring this case to justice.
And as a medical examiner, how do you determine how long remains have actually been somewhere? Kind of generically speaking, if you can't speak to this directly.
Well, in general, typically we just go by our experience as well as sending it to a forensic anthropologist for additional information to get obtained.
Is there anything specifically you look for? Structure or...
I can't comment specifically on this case, but in general we will look for the tissue remaining as well as the way the bones look.
So obviously the dental records were key.
Yes, in this case they were.
And can you talk to us a little bit about the process, or what it was like whenever you arrived out on the scene? I understand you and Susan were also there, just about what it was like walking through that. It's good, but it's not much.
Yeah, there's really not much that I can comment on in reference to the scene. The remains were found. We analyzed them while we were there, and we simply transported them to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office.
Do you know what's going to happen with the body now? Will it be moved somewhere else?
Considering there is no cause of death determined just yet, we will be ordering further testing to determine if there is a cause of death.
Chief Deputy, can you answer for me? You guys have had remains found in your county in the last year before. You know, is that the first thing that went through your mind? Could it possibly be Kelly Fire?
You know, as a chief deputy working for a law enforcement agency, you're familiar with these cases as they are out within the community and the surrounding areas. But I think, you know, on the other hand, you're sensitive to all the other families that have missing wives, children, uncles, and aunts. And in the end, what you're doing is you're trying to do the best that you can to gather the information as factual, as diligent as possible, so that you can reach out to those other agencies and in the end, you know, work together and try figuring out who is this person, who are their family members, what can we do to resolve this case.
So it's safe to say, well, this may bring closure for the Dwyer family. There are a lot of families out there who are kind of hoping that maybe this would be their last one as well.
Yeah, and I can't even begin to put myself in their shoes to understand what that family's going through, and it has to be terrible. And I guess the only thing positive that really comes from today's meeting is the fact that we can take some of that, we can give that family some closure and allow them to move on with part of a healing process, you know, in their lives.
Ms. Wade, with the passage of time, how does a body generically being left out in the elements, or whether it's a month, whether it's a year, how does that impact how difficult it is to do your job?
It impacts it significantly. We're not for certain, obviously, if she was outside for a lengthy amount of time. We're really not sure too much. Again, we're going to have further investigation with the forensic anthropologist getting involved. However, if there is somebody that is left unfound for a significant amount of time, it makes it difficult because it does make it hard to find a cause of death and a manner of death with that. So that's why we work with the forensic odontologist, the forensic anthropologist, and the pathologist to try to determine whatever we can.
So how do you go about determining the cause of death in a case like this where there isn't a whole lot to go on?
Well, we've had the autopsy completed, and in order to get a better idea of if there were any injuries, we would go ahead and send her to a forensic anthropologist to do some analysis so that we can see if there are any injuries that we can find. That is the next step.
What I'd like to do next is, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to ask District Attorney Susan Happ to take the stand for a second. And if you have any questions as it would regard to the criminal nature of this situation, feel free to ask.
Can you say at all how the body ended up here?
No, and that's going to be part of the investigation, right? I mean, this has been in the news for the last year and a half, and I think the biggest thing that all of us want to stress is that this is going to be a collaborative, cooperative effort. This case started out with a very significant, detailed, involved investigation in Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Police Department and their cold case unit has been involved for a significant amount of time, and we're going to continue to coordinate with those agencies in Milwaukee to try to bring the Dwyer family justice. I mean, that ultimately is the goal of everyone. So we can't speak to the facts of their investigation, but we certainly will be working together to share information and to work together.
As far as your job goes, does this turn into a hiding a corpse situation?
I mean, that's what we certainly have right now, right, in terms of Jefferson County. But the investigation has to continue so that we can hopefully determine how she was killed, where she was killed, and then, put all those pieces together.
Back to my earlier question, are you proceeding with this case then as a homicide?
Well, I think it's premature. I think the information that Milwaukee has, they certainly have their own leads and their own theories, but we have to be able to substantiate and have evidence to establish those facts. But the reality is she's a young woman who went missing and now has been found deceased in Jefferson County, and I guess I can say that that's something that certainly is suspicious in nature.
This might not be answerable, but have you come across, since finding the body, without saying any specifics about what it might entail, any witnesses who reported seeing anything unusual in that area recently?
I can't comment specifically, but that certainly is an area of follow-up. There certainly were witnesses who discovered the remains, and that type of investigation will continue. And again, coordinating with how that links up to where she was last seen and all of the evidence that the Milwaukee Police Department has in their possession.
So can I ask if your office or if the Milwaukee County District Attorney's office would decide on any kind of charges here, would it be a joint decision?
It's going to depend on how the evidence progresses. So we'll continue to work together. If, for example, it was determined that this was a homicide and occurred in Milwaukee County, then it becomes their case. And right now it is their case with our assistance as it relates to the discovery of the body in Jefferson County. But again, I want to stress the coordinated collaborative effort, because I think that's really important when you have an individual who goes missing and is found and it crosses those different county lines. Thank you.
What I'd like to do in closing is just simply state that, once again, we offer our condolences to the family of Kelly Dwyer. I want to thank everybody for being here today. I would also like to extend my thank you to the men and women of the Sheriff's Office, the first responders that are involved in investigating these type of situations. It's a team effort that allows us to go out and bring these type of cases to justice. So I just want to recognize my men and women that work here at the Sheriff's Office and thank them for their hard work over the weekend and taking time away from their families to be out there working hard. So with that in mind, once again, thank you very much for being here. Yes?
Chief Deputy Parker, you mentioned Ms. Dwyer's family obviously not going to be back, but how does it feel knowing you at least brought them to closure?
You know, whenever you have situations like this, it's different. It's definitely a mixed bag of emotions, because there's a element of professional pride that your men and women go out and they do the job they're trained to do, to process a scene, to take leads and follow up on the investigation. But then at the end of the day, you know, I have a 24-year-old daughter. You know, and like I said, I can't imagine ever having to be faced with that reality that I'm not going to see her again. So once again, my heart goes out to that family, and I pray that they can just move forward in this healing process.
Have you spoken to them today?
No, I have not. All right, everybody. Once again, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
All right, we've been listening to a news conference there. Chief Deputy Jeffrey Parker with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office.